Growing a business is kind of tricky right now. Supply chains are squeezed, tariffs and trade policies are dynamic, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. You need clarity to come out on top. Without it, you risk falling behind. If only you could hop in the DeLorean and see the future, right? Thankfully, there's NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite has real-time forecasting to help you move ahead with confidence. This is your AI-powered business management suite and the #1 cloud ERP. Trusted by over 42,000 businesses, NetSuite brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. And with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. Hey, I get it. You've worked really hard to build up your business, and it's doing great. So great that you need help now. The most important thing for your business is to hire the right people to support it. So how can you find amazing candidates quickly? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. And with Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, Sponsored Jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. And it's one of the largest databases of job seekers, too, giving business owners access to a wide range of candidates. And one of the things I love most about Indeed is the job alerts feature. I get notified when new candidates apply. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/smartpassive. Just go to Indeed.com/smartpassive right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/smartpassive. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need. You spent months building towards launch day, but when the clock hits 0, your site crashes. Bots swarm, and loyal fans rage on Reddit. That's not good. Fanfare was built to stop that. Fanfare is the drop platform made for high-pressure moments, stampede-proof infrastructure, verified waitlists, and bot filters that actually work. Instead of refunds and rage, you get retention and revenue. And that sounds great to me. Your next launch shouldn't be a gamble. Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook and learn how to bulletproof your drop at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, that's fanfare.io/playbook.
This is the Smart Passive Income Podcast with Pat Flynn, session number 248. It's a gift.
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. 9 times out of 10, he mispronounces the word pivotal, Pat Flynn.
While DIY website tools are everywhere, most fall short on design and performance. Hit publish. Framer ships your site worldwide in seconds. No code, no compromises. Framer is a powerful, user-friendly platform that delivers developer-level results without writing a single line of code. Make your designs move and convert with Framer. Framer brings your site to life with powerful animations, dynamic content handling, and a design-first approach that helps your site stand out. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. Browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something of your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, scroll and looping animations, and much more in seconds. And it's free to start. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting of generating starter layouts and can even translate your entire site to any language. On the back end, you'll get responsive breakpoints, built-in hosting, a flexible CMS, and privacy-friendly analytics. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of pro on the house. That's framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. Do you know the secret to businesses that are scaling faster than ever? They're using Upwork to tap into a diverse pool of skilled freelancers across various industries. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts who are ready to help you take your business to the next level. I've personally used Upwork myself and can vouch for it. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelancer profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry-low fees. Post a job today and hire tomorrow with Upwork. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help you grow your business. That's Upwork.com. Again, Upwork.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me today in this session of the Smart Passive Income Podcast. We're talking about something that I've never talked about before, that I didn't even know was something that I would ever talk about before, and that is the art of gift giving with John Ruhlin, who wrote a book called Giftology. Now, oftentimes we think about gifts as just something nice to do for somebody, and sometimes we get gifts because we know somebody wants something from us, and those are things that exist. But John has a very specific approach for gift giving, and there's a very specific reason why this episode is happening right now and not during the holidays, because he actually says that the holidays are the worst times to give gifts because your gifts are going to just be lost amongst everybody else's gifts. So strategic gift giving for the purpose of strengthening the relationship that you have with the other person, whether it be your clients or your customers or somebody who you're looking to partner with or all those types of things. There's a very specific strategy that's involved that John has mastered so well that he has an agency now called Ruhlin Group, Ruhlin. And what they do is they help companies and people with gifting. How crazy awesome is that? And we're going to get an insider look at just how this all happened and what we can do as people who are here building relationships with all these amazing people around the world who have these connections with us. So here's John Ruhlin from the Ruhlin Group, also author of Giftology. And wait till the end. He has a fun gift for us as a giveaway for those of you who listen all the way through. So here we go. This is John Ruhlin from RuhlinGroup.com. Hey, everybody. What's up? I'm so happy to welcome John Ruhlin to the show today. John, thank you for joining us on the Smart Passive Income Podcast today. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me, Pat. This is going to be a blast.
It will be a blast. I'm really excited because you have a unique thing that you do. I mean, can you just share with everybody really quick, what is it that you do? And, I know some people might have heard of you before. I know you as sort of the gift-giving expert. And so what does that even mean?
Well, if you meet me at a dinner party, the 6-word opener, the Clay Haybear opener is, I help leaders not suck at saying thank you. But really, at the end of the day, we have a gift strategy and logistics company. So we help from startups to pro sports teams like the Cubs and $20 billion companies. We help them love on their people well. It could be their clients, could be their suppliers, could be their employees. But at the end of the day, relationships matter. Most people would agree with that statement, but how they actually show it is a different story. Most people kind of drop the ball on the showing and really proving to people that they care.
People who know my brand know that I care a lot about my audience, and there's obviously many other people who have businesses who care about their audience too, but I think there's 1,001 different ways to show that care. And we all hear from Gary Vaynerchuk, like the best strategy for success is care. But when it comes to actually doing it, some people struggle. I mean, some people go as far as just writing great content that's really helpful. That's obviously one way to care, but you take it to the next level and kind of drop these surprises and gifts and whatnot to show that love. Where did this even come from? Why is this what you do?
Yeah, well, it wasn't part of the master plan. I thought I was going to go be a doctor when I was in college. I was prepping for med school, but I had a mentor early on that was just world class at being what I now call radically generous. He wouldn't have called it that. It was just how he was, but he was always giving things away. He was always just, he'd after a basketball game, he'd pick up the entire restaurant's tab and he would never take credit for it. He would find deals on noodles. He'd buy a semi-load of them, and everybody at church the next Sunday, like 200 people, would end up with like 20 boxes of noodles just because that's who he was. And I noticed, that every deal in town seemed to flow his way. Like he was the most top of mind person because of his generosity. And so everybody just picked up the phone and called Paul when they had an idea, an opportunity, like he was just front and center. And so when I interned with Cutco, the knife company, I thought it'd maybe last a summer if I was lucky. Like I was like green. I wasn't a salesperson. I didn't really think of myself as a salesperson, but I was motivated. I was a hustler. And so I pitched him the idea of giving away pocket knives to all of his clients because I thought he's generous. Maybe all his clients are men. They're into outdoors. Maybe they'll give away pocket knives. And he got this little twinkle in his eye and he was like, John, what about paring knives? I want to give those away. Could you engrave those? And I'm like, you want to give away paring knives to grown men, like guys that are running $100 million companies? Like, that's weird. Why? And he's like, well, I've found that if you take care of the entire family, like, especially on the gifting process and appreciation or gratitude, like everything else in business seems to kind of take care of itself. And I was like, oh my gosh, like wow. Paul, like it wasn't about the knife for Paul. It was about the psychology of giving, and there was a strategy involved. And I'd never heard of, strategic gifting. It was always just like obligatory gifting. And so I started to mimic that, and I was like, I want to do this for real. So I would buy, I'd invest like $200 on a carving set, which might as well have been like $2,000 or $2 million as a college kid. It was a big deal. And I put a handwritten note inside, say, carve out 5 minutes for me. I promise it'll be worth your time. And I would send it off to like a CEO of a $50 million company that I'd want to get a meeting with. And I'd get the meeting. And I walk in at 21 years old and the CEO's 60s, like expecting somebody in their 40s or 50s. And he's like, are you here to sell me knives? I'm confused. And I'd be like, no, I'm actually here to help your 1,000 sales reps open doors with your biggest clients, your Dream 100 list. And I'm here to help you drive referrals. And instead of selling one set at a time, I'd sell 1,000 sets. And wow. By the time I was a senior in college, I'd become Cutco's largest international distributor out of like 70 years. And out of 1.5 million kids that had gone through the doors. And so I kind of put med school on hold permanently and decided this whole gift and appreciation and strategic gifting company was worth a go. And that was 16 years ago. I've never looked back.
That's awesome. So this sounds more than just like, hey, somebody help me out, or I really like this person, I'm going to send them a Starbucks or a Jamba Juice gift card, right? Like there's some strategy involved with the kind of gifts you select and who you select it to. But I'm also curious, where does one draw the line between, giving gifts specifically to get something back in return? Like, how does that all play in all of this for you?
Yeah, so I think that one of the biggest things, there's a big difference between giving a gift to like a client or an established relationship, or giving something to somebody that you want to get their attention. I liken it to Gary Vee's idea of being an attention broker. I'm essentially on the prospect side, I'm helping companies and sales reps and startups. I'm essentially helping them buy people's attention ahead of time. Like I'm pre-buying their attention. So at the end of the day, like you still have to have a great product or a great service. Like, but with all the digital noise and how the fast pace of business, like it takes something pretty significant to shock and awe somebody into actually responding. Because there's a lot of good services, there's a lot of good consultants, there's a lot of good startups, but there's so many people out there all vying for the same attention that unless you do something pretty significant, you're not going to get their attention. So, but on a client side, the goal is to love on people well, no strings attached. Now, there's obviously an inherent hope of over the next 20 years, I hope good things happen when I do good things for people, that they're going to reciprocate. But people can tell and sense when you do something and it's like, it's a bait and switch. Like, hey, I just sent you that gift. Now get me on your podcast.
Right.
And so you can feel that in the interactions with people, but we're all in business to make profit. So we all know that people are hoping for good things to happen. But there's a very subtle difference, but there is a big difference between somebody doing it with strings attached and somebody doing it with the right intentions. The intentions do matter.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in terms of the art of gift giving, I mean, how does one even where does one even start? Who should they be looking toward? And then also, where does one start in terms of providing something, like you said, that would stand out? Because for me, being an influencer and somebody who, I'm getting a lot of notes in the mail, a lot of gifts. People are giving me things all the time, which I'm truly blessed and thankful for. But they're all sort of like clumping together now. Like I'm getting just everybody's books, and that's obviously self-promotional, and they're hoping I'll kind of mention it on the podcast or whatnot. But then I'm getting other things that are random, and people are targeting my kids now, which is great and very thoughtful. But I'm always like, I don't know. And then for whatever reason, sometimes gifts are like, wow, this is truly thoughtful. You could tell somebody put some time into it. So how do you instruct somebody to give great gifts?
Well, I think people talk about, it's the thought that counts, and I say all the time that's bullcrap. It's the thoughtful thought that counts. Like people, like, hey, I sent you that Starbucks gift card. Isn't that so thoughtful? Or hey, I sent you a polo shirt with my logo on it. I'm like, that's not thoughtful. That's like self-promotional, like you're talking about. And so a lot of it starts with number one, identifying, instead of, trying to target, let's say 1,000 influencers, pick the 10 that really matter to you, and then do the homework and it's like anything else. Like Gary talks about, you talk about, like it's the extra effort, and it's less is more. Like dial things back. Instead of going after 1,000 people, do 10 really, really well. And I see companies and entrepreneurs all the time. They try to, target, the list is way too big. And so they end up doing things that are like very vanilla, very average. Like when I sent out a book to like Darren Hardy, who's a client of mine, or an influencer, or a Michael Hyatt, I spent $200 to $300 on the book that I put out per piece, because I had a handmade linen box with a custom leather bag, and it was personalized to them and their spouse, and it was signed. It was with a metal letterhead. But I didn't send that out to 1,000 people. I sent it out to like 40 people.
Mm-hmm.
And when people got that, they're like, "This is the nicest book I've ever seen." Whereas most people are like, "I just want to send as many as possible," and so they do the shotgun approach, and they send out 100 or 1,000, and then they wonder why it's crickets on the other end. Like nobody's posting about it. It's because it's not remarkable. Like Seth Godin talks about, like, you better be a frickin' purple cow, or else go do something else. And so gifting is that same way. Like when I send a gift to you or to anybody else that I want to build a relationship with, I make it all about you. I make sure it's best in class. I do the homework and the research, or my team does. And because of that, when somebody gets a gift from us, oftentimes they'll say, like, "This is the nicest, most thoughtful gift that I've ever received," at least in business. Now, maybe your wife or your mom or dad have done nicer things for you, and they should be able to, because they know you intimately.
Right.
But in business, like most people are not willing to do the hard work. And that's what we do for our clients, is we help them do that hard work. But you can do it, anything that we do for a client, they can do it on their own. It just means like spending time and attention to detail and digging through like people's social media files and actually reading their books and understanding their likes and preferences and what would really be meaningful. And most people are lazy. They're not willing to do that hard work.
Right. Right. And then, so you're talking about all these amazing gifts, and you've given an example already, and that sounds amazing. But I think a lot of people listening to this are totally on board with you in terms of the benefit and just how great it feels to give gifts, and being strategic with that, but also just being, obviously caring of those clients that you have and other people that you want to connect with. But I also know a lot of people might not have the money to spend. Does one need money to be able to give great gifts? And if not, how can we give great gifts still?
Yeah. Well, I would say that, having a lot of money is kind of a relative term. And when I was in college, I didn't have a ton of money, and I didn't have money for, like a ton of fancy gifts. I had some, or fancy brochures, or a fancy website even. And so I spent a lot of time writing a lot of handwritten notes, but I also looked at the things where most people go really cheap. Mm-hmm. I was going to go expensive. And by expensive, I mean like our business cards, for instance. Most people spend 2 cents on their business card. If they're fancy, they spend 5 cents. I set a goal, and this is like 9-10 years ago, of giving out the nicest business card on the planet. And I set a goal of spending $1. And my friends, would make fun of me. They're like, "You're going to go broke passing out $1 business cards." But I was like, I felt like it was a detail worth communicating that we were different, and that, the details matter. And I remember watching, I don't know if you're a Will Smith fan, but growing up, watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and all of his movies, like I always thought he was like Mr. Cool.
Totally.
And so I remember watching the movie Hitch and seeing like his card. I don't know if you remember his card on that movie, but it was a square black card, had his name on it and his cell phone number. That was it. And I modeled my business card after that, and I made them out of metal, and they were black. And 9-10 years ago, this was like unheard of. And I remember handing that $1 business card out to like the CEO of this massive, it was like a Lowe's. It was at a NASCAR suite. And before that, a card exchange, like you could tell, like all he cared about was like the nachos behind me. Like he didn't give two rips about gifts or gift strategy or gratitude. Like he was glazing over during our conversation. And when I exchanged business cards, he got the card and looked at it. He's like, "This is the coolest frickin' card I've ever seen," except he didn't say frickin'. He's like, "What do you do again?" And it changed the conversation. $1 changed the conversation. Mm-hmm. And it was because instead of spending 2 cents, I spent $1, which didn't seem like a big deal, but that's 50 times more than what most people do. So I would say, like right now we spend $9 on our letterhead, which sounds crazy, but $9, people spend $9 on sometimes their Starbucks order costs $9. and they don't think twice about it. But when it comes time to your stationery that you're going to handwrite a note, or what you're taking 30 minutes or an hour and putting down your thoughts, I don't think you have to spend a lot of money, but I do think that you have to be willing to go against the grain in how you show gratitude and appreciation, and be willing to do things radically different than your competitors. Not spend 2% more on your brochure and make it a glossy versus matte finish. Like, spend money where it's going to count. And I always say, where everybody's going expensive, I cut out altogether. And where everybody goes cheap, I go super expensive. And super expensive may be like the $3 business card that we now have. But it's just about thinking differently and redirecting your resources where you can actually be that purple cow. And I found that in gifting, most people are so horrible at it and do it so wrong that you don't have to be, like, the bar is pretty low, that it's one of the few levers out there where people suck at it so bad that you could actually be what I would consider average and still be like in the top 5% of gift givers out there, because most people are so horrible at it.
Now, the gift is obviously very important, the thing that they see and they receive, but I would expect that the way that you give that gift is also pretty important. Can you speak to the methods by which you might hand something off to somebody or send somebody something? Is it okay to just send a cardboard box with a thing in it, or like what are some tips you might have for, the approach,
the delivery? I think the item itself is important, but all the other details around it that you're alluding to are massively important. In fact, I mean, we're this time of year, December, January, February, like a lot of times people are like coming off the Christmas high and craziness and like insanity of the holidays and all the gifts that are exchanged. And what's funny is, as a gifting company, we've been called the Grinch that wants to kill Christmas, because I don't send one gift between, literally, like there's articles like he's the Grinch that wants to kill Christmas, because between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you would think would be the busiest time of year for us on the planet. But we don't let our clients send gifts between Thanksgiving and Christmas, because we don't want to be one of 50 gifts on the conference table or in the office, that are causing the table to collapse from all the candy, nuts, chocolate, wine, bourbon, all the crap that everybody's sending. So one of our big keys is timing matters. And it needs to be a surprise and a delight. And you can't do gifting at a world-class level when it's an obligation. And that's when most people give gifts, is when it's expected. Hey, we're having a conference, we should send a gift. Hey, it's a trade show, we should do a gift. Hey, it's their birthday, do a gift. And our view is, whatever you're going to send, make it a just because. Don't give a gift after a referral, because then it feels like it cheapens the referral. Like, hey, you sent me $1 million referral or a $1,000 referral. Here's your Starbucks gift card.
Yeah, or a gift basket or whatever.
Or a gift basket. Yeah, it's cheesy. And yet we do it all the time. It's like, yeah. A lot of them are, yes, filled with
cheesy
horrible,
and meaty and nutty.
Cheesy and yeah, half the stuff is like, I would never eat this stuff, and like most of it gets regifted or thrown in the trash.
The jam, and I don't use the jam.
It's freaking horrible. So the surprise and delight element matters, and so I do gifts. We sent out a $250,000 worth of gifts. So we started with a budget of $5,000, but every year we've worked up more because we see the return on investment. But we send gifts out once a quarter, but it's always at a time that they're not expecting. Like one year we might do Valentine's Day around a theme of loving working with you, and that is that theme. And then the next year we might do it around St. Patrick's Day, around just being lucky and fortunate to have a client or partner like you. So people never know what's coming, and so they don't get into the realm of like, well, they've been sending a honey baked ham for the last 27 years. Like here's the 28th honey baked ham. Like that doesn't make anybody feel VIP. It makes it feel automated. And I think when you can make your gifts feel like they're the only person that received it, so the packaging matters. It needs to be well wrapped and put into a beautiful box. It needs to have a handwritten note with the gift, so it doesn't feel like it just came from Amazon. Like, how can I automate this process and make it as easy as possible? You want it to feel like this was, this took some time and energy and effort to put together and send out. So when we do gifting for our clients, it doesn't say Ruhlin Group on it. It's not like powered by Ruhlin Group. It says nothing about us, because we want it to come from our client to their client or their employee or whatever else. And so the packaging and all the finer details make it going from being like just another box of stuff to making it feel like, we want our gifts to become artifacts. And when somebody values something and is like, wow, I'm going to keep this for the next 20, 30 years, like we've done our job. Not, wow, this is going to be great for the next 5 minutes, and then I'm not sure what the heck I'm going to do. It's going to end up in Goodwill in 6 months. Like that's not, that's not the goal.
How would you recommend people do research for those that they're giving gifts to? I'm sure you guys have your own methods. Can you reveal anything? Is it just as simple as going onto a Twitter account, looking at the media tab and seeing kind of what they're interested in? Or, what can people do today to actually give better gifts tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we're an open book. I mean, the book Giftology is our entire game plan. Like there's no Giftology 2 coming out like in 6 months. Like, hey, our secrets. A lot of it is just doing research on social media. I would say, secondly, if you have a relationship, with your client and they have an assistant, a lot of the gifting that we do, we target the inner circle. So the assistant and the spouse, we do a ton of gifting for our clients because those are the people that are the most underappreciated in business. And oftentimes, guys like you and I, like we get nice things sent to us all the time, and we stay at nice hotels and get cool experiences. But oftentimes, our spouses and our assistants, they get the worst part of being in business. So a lot of the gifting we target is that halo effect, because if I get somebody's assistant or their spouse to be a fan, then all of a sudden, like they become my internal champion and sales advocate. So I encourage people, that our clients or your listeners, to do the same thing. Because $1 spent on that inner circle, doesn't matter what industry you're in or what size company you're in, $1 spent on the inner circle is like spending $50 on the target or the executive or the decision maker that they think that they're going after. And so 80% of my own personal gifting is towards people's inner circles. And
that's
kids are on that list, but unless you have a personal relationship, kids are a weird thing to start giving gifts for, because it almost feels like stalkerish at that point. Like you can get away with spouse, you get away with assistant, but I avoid kids unless there's an established relationship, because otherwise it just feels like you're kind of crossing the line.
Kind of creepy.
It's a little bit creepy there. Like you're protective of your kids, and there's already there's that concern there, and so it's awesome if you have a close relationship with the client or the employee. I encourage our pro sports team clients like the Cubs to have events where they can bring kids, because that's where the memories are created, and there's photography and video, and those are the kind of experiences that are once in a lifetime experiences. But in general, like targeting a prospect's kids is just weird. So I would avoid that. I would also say that there's common hot buttons that we use. One of the reasons we still sell a boatload of Cutco in the knives, it sounds weird, like knives in business, like that doesn't make any sense. But eating is one of the most common things, like throughout history, like breaking bread with people and spending time eating and drinking with them is still, like in 2016, is a big deal. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the gifts that we encourage people to do are around the kitchen, because that's where you entertain with your most intimate relationships and spend time. And so the knives are beautiful because I can send them to somebody that's 30 years old or 70 years old, and I know that eating is probably not going out of style anytime soon. So you're probably going to use the knives, whether that's one knife or whether that's a full $5,000 set. Like I'm able to kind of vary it depending upon who I'm engaging with. But that kitchen element, like we do these cool wine glasses or glasses that are made from wine bottles, because they'll get used every day in the kitchen, and you can't go buy them at like Target. And so a lot of the gifts we encourage people to do are, I call them practical luxuries. So I could give the same gift to 1,000 people, but every person that received it would be like, wow, this is actually useful for me. And it feels very personal based upon the fact that it has their name on it, their family name. There's no logo of any sort on the gift. And it's all about the recipient. So you could take some common gifts in any industry, any size company, and kind of like duplicate that and leverage it to your own benefit. So that's part of our secret sauce.
I love that. And what is the website for your agency again, so people can find it?
Yeah. If they search for Ruhlin Group, which is my last name, Ruhlin Group, all one word, .com, they can check out John Ruhlin. We're starting to do more speaking at like we just spoke at Fortune Magazine's Growth Summit. And so John Ruhlin, or if they type in Giftology into Amazon, they can there's links there and whatever else, and they can kind of see everything that we're about. But RuhlinGroup.com has some of our case studies with the Cubs and some of our bigger clients.
That's awesome. So that's RUHLIN for Ruhlin. And I'll have the links and stuff all in the show notes for everybody out there who wants to click through. And I would encourage you to do it. So, okay, let's say that I hire you or your agency to help with gifting. Is it, do I usually come in with people in mind already, or is it just I hire you knowing that I need to do this and you kind of help me figure it out? Like, what's it like working with a group like that?
Yeah, but I guess both and. I mean, some people say, here's our Dream 100 list of clients, or here's our top 50 clients that we already have, or I spend more money than most people do on their suppliers. So sometimes I'll walk people through what we call a relationship action plan and get them to recognize that they wouldn't have a business without these 30 suppliers. And most people treat their suppliers like dirt. And I encourage people to treat their suppliers like gold, because some of my biggest wins and opportunities and growth of my company has come from aligning myself with the right suppliers. And so, but some people come with a pre-established list of, we know who the targets are, we know who the key relationships are. Can you just help us lay out how many times a year and what should the frequency be and how much should we reinvest of our profits back into the clients? Mm-hmm. Other times people are like, man, I suck at gifting and gratitude. I know it's important. Take me through from step one to identify who the people even could be. So I would say people can kind of come from two different directions of having the pre-established versus, wanting to sit down with us or wanting to have kind of a webinar type, program put together where we walk them through step by step of identifying those key people.
That's really cool. That's so awesome. Who knew that this would be a thing, right? And then here you are just crushing it with it, because I never even had considered that this could be something people would need help with. But I think you're right. Most people are terrible at it, and they have a good heart, and they're trying, they're making an effort, but they're just there's an art to it, as you can see here, and as you can hear. So what would be, this is a very selfish question, because I have a few friends who have told me specifically, like, hey, like, don't give me anything. I have everything I need. Don't gift me anything. I don't want stuff. Yeah. How would you help, or how would you provide a gift to somebody who doesn't want stuff?
Yeah, well, I think there are those people out there. Like, we run into it in the corporate world where companies can't give gifts because of, it's like Walmart. Like, they can't even take a pencil. So there are times where gifting either isn't appropriate because, the last thing you want to do is spend money to have a negative consequence. Either you spend money to give the wrong gift and people are like, behind your back, they're like, I just did $20,000 worth of business and he sent me a bar of chocolate with his logo on it. Like, I can't believe, like, I'm less likely to do business with the person as a result of receiving this gift, which I hear that all the time. Or it's like, you're dealing with compliance and whatever issues. But I would say that, there are people out there, that either already have everything that they want, or they think that they do. And so sometimes I'll push the envelope and say, there's what people think and say, and then there's the reality of things. And so I would say if they're married or have kids and you have a close relationship, I would say, yeah, let's not gift that person, but let's take care of their assistant and some of the key people around them and make them look like a rock star to that inner circle. And then see the halo effect of that. So you kind of go at it from a more backdoor approach. And then I would say some of the other things are like, it is appropriate at times to say they don't want more stuff, but they would like an amazing experience. So figure out what's on their bucket list and help craft and make sure that one of their dreams comes true. So because sometimes people, like, they have things that maybe they wouldn't do for themselves on the experiential side, but that you, through relationships or, investing your own resources, you might be able to help make that happen for them or their kids or their spouse or whatever else. And so, gifting, showing love and appreciation isn't just stuff. It's like the 5 love languages. There's different ways to show love and gratitude, whether it's to your spouse. Some people are more acts of service or, the written or the spoken word, words of affirmation. But I do think that there's ways that you can show gratitude for even people. Like, we've done gifting for people that are billionaires. And I don't know if the people that you're talking about are billionaires or not. But everybody, I think at a core level, loves to be loved on. And most people aren't walking around saying, gosh, I wish people would stop appreciating me. Like, the gratitude stuff is just too much. I'm just really over, my gratitude cup is just overly full. Like, most people secretly are walking around feeling underappreciated, even the highest level people. And in fact, the higher up the food chain you go, sometimes those people are on islands and aren't shown appreciation as much as you would think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I want to share one really cool gift that somebody had given me, and it was literally through an email, but it was the extra time and effort that this person put into it that really made an impact on me. His name is Robert. He has a site at themusclecarplace.com. Some of you who are hearing that URL might remember him because he was on a previous episode of the SPI podcast where I was kind of coaching him and working through a process with him kind of live on the podcast. Well, anyway, as a kind of a thank you, he didn't send me anything sort of via snail mail or a package or nothing. But because he knows cars, he spec'd out a DeLorean for me, meaning that he said that, hey, if I ever am interested in buying a DeLorean, here's the kind of DeLorean that you would want to buy. And he just wrote this whole thing about all the different types that were out there, which ones had like fake parts from different places that you didn't want in your car, and like making sure that I had, if I were going to buy one day, which I hope one day, maybe once it's more, once it makes sense for me to do that, that I would get the right one. It was so cool. Like he would say things like, make sure you get the DeLorean with the speedometer that has 95 miles per hour, not the 85 miles per hour one, like with the pictures attached and everything. And it was just, it was so awesome. And he probably did. I mean, it was just so cool. So you can see how like you don't need to send stuff to really make a big impact and have people remember you.
No, man. It took the time, the energy, the effort, the creativity, the focus, and just it's not always about. I tell people all the time, like there are gifts out there like the handwritten note or like that kind of email that are actually better than the $100 gift. It's not always the amount of money that you're spending. It's bringing the same intention and focus and inspiration that you do to other parts of your business to showing gratitude and appreciation. At a core level, that's one of the most important things is what we focus on and put that intent towards. Anybody can become a great gift giver and shower of gratitude if they really want to be.
Right.
It's not like I'm a farm boy from Ohio. I grew up milking goats. It's not like I was given like this special gifting power. Like I've just been doing it for 16 years. And surrounding myself with great people that are great at showing gratitude. And because of that, when you do something for 16 years, you become pretty good at it.
Yeah. Well, you're great at it. And thank you again for coming on the show. Giftology is the book. Everybody go check it out on Amazon. And like I said, Ruhlin Group and all the links that were mentioned on the show will be available in the show notes. I'll mention that link in just a moment. But man, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you so much. This was a blast. And, hope you all are starting to think about, how you can make an impact on somebody else's life by just a little bit of extra thought and gifting and gratitude. So, John, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. I'll leave with one gift as well. If people want to go, think about doing gifting on their own, I do have, I created a top 10 worst gifts to avoid giving, to kind of give some bumpers if you're into bowling, like bumper bowls.
Yeah, nice.
If you go to giftologybook.com/Flynn, you can download for free the PDF, and you're able to at least get the things to avoid, whether it's at the holidays, which I think are the worst time to give gifts, or whether it's year round. It'll at least give you some food for thought for you and your team to digest, and that's my free gift to your listeners.
Cool, man. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Really quick, I wanted to tell you about today's sponsor, which is FreshBooks.com, one of my favorite companies because they help me manage my business finances. They help me with invoicing as well. They've been a longtime sponsor of my other show, Ask Pat. But listen up, this is going to be really interesting. Do we have any affiliate marketers in the house? I thought so. So if you do any affiliate marketing, meaning you promote or recommend other people's products, check this out. Our good friends over at FreshBook have an exciting offer for all of you content creators and publishers. So for those of you who don't know what FreshBooks is, it's an incredibly easy to use cloud accounting software that's now used by over 10 million small business owners worldwide. They've just gone and rebuilt their entire software from the ground up. It looks amazing, and the end result is absolutely second to none. And to celebrate, the FreshBooks affiliate program has launched an all-new offer that pays $5 per lead, plus $55 per sale. So any leads that you send over their way, they're going to give you $5 for. Plus, if anybody converts, that's $55 per sale. So passive income from both worlds. You'll also enjoy benefits like high conversion rates, a generous 120-day cookie window for the traffic that you send over. And for you guys only, just for SPI listeners, you're going to get double commissions from $55 to $110 per sale until April 30th. So
you should get in on this now if you want. So join the affiliate program for FreshBooks today. Go to freshbooks.com/affiliates and enter SPI in the description box. Again, that's freshbooks.com/affiliates and enter SPI in the description box. The offer expires on April 30th, so freshbooks.com/affiliates and apply today. I'd also like to thank GoDaddy for sponsoring today's episode. You know, they have a mission to give the tools and the insights and the people required to help people like us who are building independent ventures to transform our ideas and personal initiatives into success. They've helped me for several years with registering domain names at a super cheap price. They have over 62 million domain names registered, and just about 61 million are mine. No, I'm just kidding, but I do have a lot registered through them for websites that I have, but also I just have them for forwarding through, for things like willitflybook.com or emailthesmartway.com or ebooksthesmartway.com. Those are all registered through GoDaddy so that I can forward to different parts of my site. So it's easier for me to share, easier for you to remember, all those kinds of things. And there's over 13 million customers, so you're obviously in good hands. So right now, my listeners can get a special discount on a GoDaddy domain. Just use the code SMART30 at checkout to get 30% off new purchases. That's GoDaddy.com, code SMART30 for 30% off for most things. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for listening in. As always, the link to get the show notes and all the links available is at smartpassiveincome.com/session248. I appreciate you, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode. Thank you so much for all the support, all the love, and Happy New Year to all of you. And please, if you have a moment, head on over to iTunes and leave a review for the show. I thank you very, very much. See you in the next episode. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at www.smartpassiveincome.com.
Have you dreamt about being your own boss, but still haven't made the first steps to making that dream a reality? Well, I get that. Starting a business can feel super overwhelming with legal forms, paperwork, finances. It's a lot. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Taylor Brands. Taylor is a complete business builder designed to make launching your business simple and stress-free. You can register your LLC in just minutes, keeping your personal assets and the business assets separate from day one. From there, you get access to everything you need to get off the ground. Legal documents, licenses and permits, invoicing and bookkeeping tools, and even a 100-day business coaching program, all designed to help you hit the ground running. You'll also get a free, personalized business plan, branding tools, and so much more. And of course, listeners of this show get an exclusive 35% discount to get started. All you have to do is head to taylorbrands.com/SPI. That's TAILORBRANDS.com/SPI. Stop dreaming, start building with Taylor Brands. I get it. You want to grow your business, but selling at scale feels overwhelming. You're drowning in complicated funnels, creating different lead magnets, or constantly posting on social media. And that gets exhausting fast, especially when you're trying to sell to hundreds or thousands of people. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? A Score app quiz or assessment asks your audience key questions and gives them instant personalized results based on their answers. Your audience gets to know where they are now and shows them the steps they need to hit their goals. You can set up a quiz in minutes using Score app's templates and have a powerful lead magnet that'll do the selling for you. The best part is your audience actually wants to take this quiz, and you build huge amounts of trust before you even make a single offer. No hard sales, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. Just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI.